Rockford's home for classic rocks, 96.7 The Eagle. Good morning, I'm Double T. Joining me, comedian Dusty Slay. I saw a couple of his videos and I had to talk to you. Dusty, how's it going today?
Everything's great. I'm having a good time. Pumped to be here.
How long have you been doing comedy?
Well, I've been doing comedy about 10 years, about 5 years as a full-time comedian, working the road, living the life.
What made you decide that you wanted to get into comedy?
Well, I used to sell pesticides and travel around to Lowe's and Home Depot, and customers would ask me weird questions. They'd be like, I'm looking for something organic. I'd like to kill the insects but not harm the environment. I'm like, well, how about a shoe? You know? I was like, there's got to be a better way to make money, you know?
What is your background? What was it like growing up? And where are you from originally?
Well, I grew up in Alabama, grew up in a trailer park, which wasn't that fun. I'm not sure why they call it a park, you know? I mean, there wasn't no rides in there. No water slides. We had like an occasional slip and slide or like an old tarp, Dawn dish detergent on it. You know? One time we put our slip and slide over a tree root because we was going to jump it, and that's not how that works.
No, ouch. That sounds like it was painful.
Yeah, I hit that root. I just got up and got a job.
What was your family like growing up?
Well, my family's great, but, you know, my parents got divorced when I was 2. Then there was a custody battle. My mom lost, so I had to go live with her. And we were poor, but not real poor. You know, we just didn't have everything. I never got ice cream growing up. My mom used to just pour milk into a bowl, and then she'd call me into the room and go, well, you're too late. We never had the tooth fairy growing up either. We had the opposite of the tooth fairy. We just had a guy that would come in, steal your money, and leave teeth.
I'm talking to Dusty Slay. I heard that you have a TV deal possibly in the works, right?
They heard my trailer park stories, and they said, well, this is a guy that actually knows about trailer parks. And I was like, yes, I do. Finally, that expertise is paying off.
Once you have an expertise like that, do you get some sort of certificate or something to prove it, or how does that work?
I don't know. Maybe I get to be the president of the Mobile Homeowners Association or something.
Now, you got to have some fun stories about growing up. Sounds like you had an interesting life.
Yeah, it was a good time. A lot of money out there, a lot of different kinds of money. You know, there's like old money, new money, blood money. We didn't have any of that. What we had was good money. That's where your parents buy you something you don't like, and they go, we paid good money for that. Good money buys the worst stuff. It's never anything good.
Of course. What did you get with good money?
You get like a airbrush T-shirt with your name on it from Gatlinburg, Tennessee, or the county fair. I had a lot of T-shirts with wolves on it growing up.
Yeah, definitely.
My mom thought I'd look good in a wolf T-shirt.
A name like Dusty Slay, it really seems like something more of like a NASCAR name.
I know. I have NASCAR T-shirts that I sell because I used to wear a lot of NASCAR T-shirts growing up. There's nothing wrong wearing a NASCAR T-shirt, but I wore way more than the average person. In fact, anytime I had to dress nice, my mom would just put me in my newest NASCAR T-shirt. I'd be like, this ain't that nice. She's like, I know. Tuck it in. And, I mean, I was born to be a NASCAR driver or something. Somewhere along the lines, I picked up some artisticness. I don't even know if that's a word.
Who was your favorite driver growing up?
Well, my driver was Kyle Petty. I was too young to be picking a driver, I think. But I liked Kyle Petty because he drove the Mellow Yellow car, and I liked Mellow Yellow. Everybody had one, you know. I mean, for a while there, everybody that my family was picking was dying, so we were having a rough. My mom was an Alan Kawicki fan. I was a fan of Alan Kawicki, too, because he drove for the Hooters car. When he would come to town, my mom would take me to Hooters, so I was like, this is great. I love Alan Kawicki. And then there was, like, Davey Allison. My cousin was a Davey Allison fan. My brother-in-law was a Dale Earnhardt fan. And everybody was just dying. I was like, please don't be a fan of mine, you know?
I'm talking to comedian Dusty Slay. Now, for a guy that grew up in the South and stuff, it's got to be interesting when you hit the road and maybe get to some of these fancier cities.
Oh, yeah. Growing up, I thought everything above the Mason-Dixon line was a city, and I thought in cities, everybody was getting murdered and killed all day, every day. I was like, I don't know why anybody would live in a city. But now that I travel around, I'm like, every place is the same. The accents change. Some places are nicer than others, but people are the same, genuinely, and I like it. I travel around a lot. I'm always in a hotel. I don't always get the best hotels. I was in this hotel recently, and they had a sign inside my room that said, not responsible for stolen items. So I took some stuff.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, you get an opportunity like that, you have to take it, right?
Yeah, I'm like, I'm not responsible either. I don't even work here, you know? I've been needing a lamp with some plugs on it.
And you've done some of the TV shows. You've done Fallon and Kimball and stuff, right?
Yeah, I've done Tonight Show, Jimmy Kimmel. I did 2 in 1 year living in Nashville, which is an accomplishment in itself. I mean, most people have to move to New York or L.A. to get on those shows.
I kind of like how you stayed in Nashville and you didn't chase the glamour of Los Angeles.
I love it. Getting to do the Grand Ole Opry. I'm excited about that.
See, that's really cool. When you do the TV thing, does everybody back home in the trailer park, do they get together to watch it and have a little party?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I feel like people get excited in my hometown, but sometimes I don't even know if my family, if they even get it all that much. I told my mom, we were talking, I was like, I'm going to be on the Tonight Show next week, and she was like, oh, that's good. And then she just went on to something else. I was like, I don't think she even knows what I'm saying.
Oh, man. How often do you make it back home?
I go home a couple of times a year. If I'm passing through, if I got gigs in Florida or something like that, I'll try to stop. But I usually go home for Thanksgiving, things like that, you know.
You're out on the road pretty much most of the year this year, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, most every weekend I'm on the road. That's what's nice about the Grand Ole Opry. I get to be home, you know, get to take phone calls from my chair and having a good time. My calendar is always being updated. That's on my website, dustyslay.com. I'm very excited to come to the Improv in Schaumburg. I like Chicago a lot. I like Illinois. I've been a lot of places in Illinois. I finally gotten to a place where I pronounce it Illinois instead of Illinois. That's exciting for me. I'm not a reader.
Me neither. And Dusty, the cool thing about it is this comedy club is in a mall, so you get to go to a big mall too.
Perfect. Yeah, I love that. What more could you ask for? You know, some nice chain restaurants and a mall and a comedy club. You know.
You mentioned the website. Do you like to do social media stuff?
Yeah, my Facebook fan page is just my name, Dusty Slay, and then Instagram is @DustySlay. I use those two a lot. I put a lot of content out there. I'm always just trying to be funny. I don't do any politics or anything like that. I'm all comedy, so those are fun. I have Twitter, too. It's not as fun.
What made you decide to stay away from the serious issues?
Well, I don't think anybody really wants to listen to me, for one. I mean, I drink gas out of a garden hose one time. I don't think anybody wants to hear my political opinions, but I also just think that, you know, I have fans that are both conservative and liberal, and I'd like to keep them both.
That's a good idea. I like to stay away from the serious stuff, too. It's all about the fun, right?
Right, and that's why I like to say we're having a good time. You know, I like to tell people we're having a good time. I don't like to ask. A lot of comics come out and they go, are we having a good time? Not me. I can't risk it, you know? And, so I like to just have fun, and I'm just telling jokes. That's why I talk about the trailer park and stuff like that, because it just keeps it light, you know?
I'm talking to comedian Dusty Slay, and I got to comment, every picture and video I've seen you in, you've got the best hat ever.
Oh, yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.
It's got the trucker style. What made you go with that kind of hat? It's a big stand-up hat.
Oh, yeah, I love the stand-up hats like that. I don't even really like to wear the hat. I just kind of like to rest it on top of my head. If I had it my way, it would just float right above my head. That's what I like. I had an old trucker hat from West Point Pepperell. It was a plant near my hometown in Alabama, and I wore it until I wore it out. I'm always in search of the white trucker hat. Because I wear all black on stage, I like a white hat for the contrast. I think it's fun. I just love the hat. I love a good trucker hat, and now I made my own trucker hat because they're hard to find. The hipsters are robbing the Goodwill.
Do you hit the Goodwill a lot?
I love Goodwill. I go there a lot. I got a new TV recently, and I had this old big TV. I went to take it to Goodwill, and the Goodwill guy was like, nah, we don't take TVs like that anymore. But they did take it later that night when they were closed.
It's the best time to drop it off, right?
I know, yes. I had a guy come up to me after a show. I do that joke. I had a guy come up to me after a show, and he's like, that happened to me. He was a real muscular guy. He was like, that happened to me, too. He said, we don't take those anymore. And he was like, you won't take it right now, but you'll take it tonight. I was like, wow, that's aggressive. I think if I worked at Goodwill, I'd be like, you know what, I'll just take it right now. I don't know what you mean by take it tonight, so I'll just take it right now.
That is a little scary.
Yeah.
With the TV show developing for ABC, when do you see it coming out?
Well, I mean, hopefully this year. I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, I never wrote a TV show before, so each new step I'm surprised by. So it's like, you write a little bit of this, and then you got to talk to ABC, and then you get passed to the next step, and then you get passed to the next step. I mean, I fully expect, I'm the kind of guy, it's like, I'll believe it when I see it. So I'm always expecting them to call me and go, all right, well, the steps are done. We're done. But so far, we've been passing to the next step, so hopefully that continues.
Before I let you go, you seem like you're a guy like me that every time you smell a skunk, you think someone's smoking weed.
Oh, yeah. I feel like weed completely changed my perspective on skunks. Right? Like when I was a little kid, I'd be riding down the road and I'd smell that smell of it. What's that smell? And my mom would be like, that's a skunk. But now when I'm riding down the road and I smell that smell, I'm like, where'd that skunk get that weed at? You know, I mean, I feel like my mind was blown. I thought everyone was smoking weed out there. Someone told me, oh, that's a skunk. And I'm like, wow, my sense about that smell really changed.
Comedian Dusty Slay, if people are looking for you on the internet, where's the best place to look?
DustySlay.com, Instagram @DustySlay, Facebook, Dusty Slay.
Thank you so much for taking the time today. It was a lot of fun.
Hey, thank you. Thanks for having me.
It's Dusty Slay, Rockford's home for classic rock, 96.7 The Eagle.